Hello everyone and welcome to brand new retro tutorial series where we will be developing retro games with Unity, as you can see here, and Playmaker. And Playmaker is visual scripting for Unity. And as you can read here, we won't be writing a single line of code. Everything will be done with visual scripting. But for that you need Playmaker add-on. And Playmaker costs a bit of money. If you don't know that, you can see here I'm on Unity Asset Store and this is Playmaker. Right now it costs $65, regular price is $95, so grab it while it's on sale. And let me tell you about which games we will be making. We will first make this Tic Tac Toe game. This will actually start in this part already. Then we will jump on to the Punk game, Frogger game, Pac-Man, Asteroids, Duck Hunt, Moonerlander, Donkey Kong. This one is called Breakout, where you have this ball and you try to break these bricks. Next one is called Space Invaders, and of course Tetris. Maybe we will even make a bit more games, I don't know, we will see. But right now let's jump to part 1. I opened up the Unity and you can see this welcome screen. Mine is filled up, yours will probably empty or not. Anyways, this is for open project tab. We need to go into create new project tab, and first you need to specify project location. You click the browse button and you browse to whatever folder you want the project in. I already did that, so next step is we will change from 3D to 2D, so default will be 2D, and click on create and just wait a few seconds. Okay, we want to update Unity right now, so we are in Unity, and as you can see my layout is a bit different than yours. Yours probably looks like this. I'm not used to this layout. If you want, you can work in any layout, but I'm working in tall layout. You can see tall, and then I also changed this. For this to change, I click this little icon, and I change from 2 columns into 1 column, and then I just resize it a bit down. So we have scene view, game view, hierarchy, project, and inspector. So the next step will be to basically open up our asset store and import our Playmaker. If you don't have it, it costs from $60 to $90. If it's on sale, it costs even less, but you probably have it. So let's just wait for this slow asset store to open up. In the meantime, we can go and download our project files. You can navigate here to busyluxgames.com/media, and then you will find all of different tutorials files. Right now there's just one here, so you click it and it will take you to the Dropbox link, where you have only 3 images because we don't need more right now. So click on all of this and download them, and our asset store is open now. We will import Playmaker. Click on import. and once again click on import. And in the meantime we can navigate to the to where we stored our image files. I have them right here. See, circle, cross and field, and I'm gonna close this one and wait for importing to be finished. Okay, right now it's finished. So this is our project tab, and I'm going to click on create new folder, and I'm going to create folder called Tic Tac Toe, and inside I'm gonna make one more folder called Sprites. Sprites are basically images. So I'm going to select all those 3 sprites and drag them into the sprites folder, and as you can see they're already imported. So next thing we want to do is let's drag in sprites folder image. Let's position it up. Let's click on the cogwheel here and click on reset, and this will center it. Now we will reposition these screens, but first up let me open up Playmaker editor. See, we have one more new tab here, Playmaker, and we click on Playmaker editor. Now we can see window pops up and we can position it wherever we want. So let's click on this little tab that says Playmaker, and you can see it shrinks and we can position it where we want. So let's position it down there and scale it up a bit. And now let's take game wheel and position it to the right here. So now we have our scene wheel here, game wheel, which we can't modify unless we click on play, which now won't do anything. It's going slow. Okay. So let's toss in cross to the scene wheel, and let's toss in circle the scene wheel. Now we will make them align. You can see they're pretty close to alignment now, but let's align them a bit more. 1.3 and 1.3, and for the circle it will be 1.3 and 0. You can see they're perfectly aligned now. So right now let's make a new empty game object. This game object will it won't do anything, it will just be there for structure, and we will rename it to management. And now select management game object and click on create empty chart, and this will make another game object, and we will rename it game manager. And here we will do our visual scripting magic, mostly here, but on the other objects too. So you can see we can select different things here in the hierarchy. So let's select game manager that we just created, and now come to this tab, Playmaker tab, and right click and add FSM. Now before we start anything with Playmaker, we need to download a 2D add-on, and add-ons for Playmaker are free, and they just let us do so many more things. So let's open up our internet browser and into Google type Playmaker 2D and click search, and you can see on the first spot it's a Unity 2D actions for Playmaker, and click on those, and now you can see that we arrived on the Playmaker website. And let me just show you real quick all the different add-ons. You will see what they are. Basically, these are just for Unity. You can see Unity Pathfinding, Unity 2D. This is what we have right now. And then there are third-party tools. These tools are in Asset Store. For example, AddMob and A-Star Pathfinding. Let me do a search for GUI. See, GUI free, GUI scripts. This is for pro version of GUI. For example, there's the Icon Forge, and there's all sorts of things. Basically, add-ons let Playmaker communicate with other tools in the Unity. So now let's go back to the Unity today and click on this one. It will download Unity package. I already have it on computer, so I won't download it again. And then we come back to Unity and we click on Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and let's go to where we downloaded it and wait a bit and search for it. We'll probably find it faster than me. Yep, here it is, and click import. Wait a few seconds. And we have it right here, Playmaker Unity 2D. And this one let us work with 2D in Unity. So now let's come to our visual scripting again, to the Playmaker tab, and now we are in state 1. And as you can see, it says start here. Basically, whatever is in this box will go off when the level starts. And if you want to see what is in this box, we click on it, and right now you can see there's a blank space right here because we just created it. So let's fill it up with something. What do we want to do first? Basically, we want to follow our mouse and detect where our mouse is, so that we can spawn this circle and cross, right? So let's click on here, make sure you're in the state and that this is selected, state 1, because this will happen on first time. Here on state, and let's click on action browser. So now I already have this from before, but you will see this. Maybe you won't see this, but click on the preview so you will see what we will be putting in. So what we said we wanted to do, we wanted something to do with mouse. So let's type in mouse. Now you can see all those different things here, but right now let's focus on these two, because these two are for 2D. And make sure you have preview here. So let's read what the description of this says. Mouse pick 2D. It says perform a mouse pick on a 2D scene and stores the results. And let's click on the other one. It says mouse pick 2D event. Send events based on mouse interactions with a 2D game object. Mouse over or mouse down or mouse up or mouse off. So this will send an event when we click a mouse button, which is mouse down. And this basically sounds like what we need, right? Because when we click mouse down, it will do something. it will send an event, so do something. So let's drag this in here, or you can also double click it if you want. Now let's close this one for a second. So now we have it here, and we can see one warning here, but let's not worry about it for now. Or actually we will worry about it, because it says game object requires collider 2D component, and we didn't do anything with colliders right now yet. But we want to do it on this collider. We want to make collider placeholders for all of these 9 spots. So let's click on a blank spot, and let's click on game object and create empty game object, and this will be only for structure, and let's call it slots. And with slots selected, click on create empty child game object, and let's call it slot 1, and you can see it's right here. Now let's go with slot 1 selected, let's go to component, physics 2D box collider, and you can see we added box collider 2D. And right now let's drag this one up here, because this will be our first slot. This square is our first slot, and you can see it's a bit, this is the collider, green lines, and you can see it doesn't go to the edges. So let's fix this. Let's type in 1.2 and 1.2, and you can see it fits perfectly now. And now click on this and Control and D to basically duplicate it, and drag it over to here and rename it slot 2. And now do this for all other ones too. Slot 2. And now I will skip ahead and you complete them for other slots too. Okay, so now we have 9 slots, as you can see. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's come back to our game manager again. Click on it and you can see we have our game manager here. So now what we want to do is we want to detect if we will press on slot 1. So you can see here game object, it's waiting us to insert something in here. So let's click on this one and you can see we have 2 options. Use owner, it means use this one, but we don't want to check for this one. We want to check for slot 1, basically this square that we just created colliders. So let's click on here, specify game object, and you can see some window drops down. Now let's click, but don't release your mouse. We will basically drag slot 1 here. So drag slot 1 in here. So this is now set, and next thing that we want to set is we want to do something there, right? When slot 1 is clicked. And for this we will need to down. You can see event to send when the mouse is pressed while over the game object. So when the mouse is over slot 1 and when the button is pressed. So we need to do something with this, but we don't have anything right here, because we need to go to the event tab and we need to make a new event. Event is basically what connect different states. If you don't understand it really right now, don't worry, you will in a few minutes. Let's say slot 1 clicked and press enter, and you can see we added an event here. So now let's go back to our state and mouse where it says mouse down, click on slot 1 clicked, and we see a warning event not used by this state or any global transition because we didn't add it in here. And for do this we need to right click on this box and go to add transition and click slot 1 clicked, and you can see it came below here and our warning is gone. So now we have our slot 1 and slot 1 clicked, and this will happen when our mouse is pressed when we are over this slot 1. So now we need to do something, right? So let's make a new state. So right click and add state. So now we have state 1, this is what will happen on the start, and state 2. So now we need to connect them. So click here, slot 1 clicked, and drag it over to here. As you can see, an arrow appears. So now when slot 1 is clicked, it will go here because we said slot 1 clicked. So let's try it out. Let's first click not on the slot 1, just click anywhere else. So you can see nothing happens because we said slot 1. So now let's click on slot 1 and observe, look at this green outline. This is basically at which state we are right now. So let's click on slot 1 and boom, it happened. So we are now in slot 2, and because we didn't specify anything, it's basically stuck here doing nothing. So let's close this and let's make something in state 2. Let's put our red cross there. Right, nothing is there. We're in state 2, selected, and we're in state tab. Let's open up action browser again. Let's delete this. So what we want to do, we want to create something, right? So let's type in create. You see, we don't want to create empty game object because empty game object is not red cross, right? It's empty. We want to create object. You see, it says create a game object, usually from prefab. So let's drag this in, and you can see we have one error here because it's we need to select some game object. Let's close this down. So it said create game object usually from prefab, you know. So if you don't know what prefabs are, prefabs are basically game objects that you can use and reuse a lot of times. So we want to reuse this red cross, right? Alright, let's make a prefab out of it. Nothing is there because we just click on a cross here and drag it over to the project field, and you can see we have cross here. And let's organize it a bit more. So let's click on Tic Tac Toe folder and make a new folder and click and write in prefabs. Let's click on our cross prefab and drag it in. Okay, so let's go back to our game manager, select it and select our state 2 and drag our newly created prefab in right now. So game object that will be created is cross. Spawn point, where this game object will be spawned. where do we want to spawn it? We said on slot 1 because our mouse clicked on slot 1, right? So let's drag our slot 1 in there. It will be created where slot 1 is. Position we don't need because we already assigned spawn point. We don't need any other stuff here. Let's try it out. Let's click play. Let's first click on slot 2. Nothing will happen. Let's click on slot 1. Boom. It makes red cross. And you can see it makes one in hierarchy. It says cross clone. Clone is because we're cloning this prefab. So yeah, that's basically it. This will wrap up the first video of this tutorial series. Hopefully you learned something. If it's still not so clear to you, just wait a couple of more videos and you will see that you will really get a hang of it. For now, let's just do a quick save. Basically we want to click on file and save scene, and the window will pop up and you can name your scene. I named it test. You can see it's already there. So yeah, that's it for now, and hopefully we will see each other in the next part. Have a nice day.